Martin Kalking-Locks, the Director of the Global Center for Maritime Sanctions Monitoring. Nice to meet you.
If you recall, the Center for Northeast, which founded as a source to increase its performance by magnifying vessels. Pleasure. Ms. Chalmers from the State Department.
Thank you so much for allowing us to work so wonderfully with the team. The maritime security environment is so important to the United States and all of our partners and allies. And it's been really wonderful to see how the ambassador and his team have really enabled Antigua to punch above its weight. We're so excited and to work with Darius and others and Martin to see the collaboration for the Global Center, and we couldn't have had a better team helping us make this event. So we wanted to thank you.
It's a pleasure, and our security interests are mutual. Your security is our security. So we understand the importance of maritime security and to have a safe and secure environment. So we do our best to try and exceed international standards. I'm very happy with the leadership of Ambassador Browne and his team. They have my full support, not only as Minister of this private, so we're very happy to be working very closely with the United States and other stakeholders to ensure that we have a safe global maritime environment that is in the interest of all stakeholders. So thank you.
Delighted to introduce the Right Honorable Gaston Browne, Prime Minister of Antigua. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairlady. I acknowledge the distinguished Minister from the Republic of Guyana. Of course, my dear colleague, Dwight Gardner, Director Adams, and of course, all of the other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the international organizations, members of the diplomatic corps, industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Well, it is both an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to Antigua and Barbuda for the 2026 Global Maritime Security and Sanctions Enforcement Symposium. I extend a warm Antiguan and Barbudan welcome to each of you, and thank you for joining us here at the beautiful St. James's Club for what promises to be an important and timely exchange of ideas on some of the most pressing challenges confronting the global maritime community. This symposium is being hosted jointly by the Antigua and Barbuda Department of Maritime Services and Merchant Shipping, ADAMS, and the United States Department of State with the valued support of Sandia National Laboratories. It represents the culmination of years of cooperation, dialogue, technical engagement, and relationship building among partners who share a common commitment to preserving the integrity, safety, and security of the international maritime system. And as I said to Ms. Chalmers informally this morning, we share a common security interest, in that your security is our security, and our security is your security. I wish, therefore, to express my sincere appreciation to Ambassador Dwight Gardner and the dedicated team at ADAMS, whose professionalism, foresight, and commitment have made this gathering possible. I also wish to acknowledge Ms. Jennifer Chalmers and her colleagues at the United States Department of State for their partnership and unwavering support in advancing this shared agenda. The convening of this symposium here in Antigua carries significance beyond geography. It serves as a reminder that leadership is not measured by territorial size or population, but by commitment, competence, and the willingness to contribute to the global good. As a small island developing state, Antigua and Barbuda understands perhaps better than most that our prosperity, security, and connectivity depend on a stable, rules-based maritime order. The sea is not merely our geographical reality. It is our economic lifeline, our great gateway to trade, our link to the world, and the foundation upon which much of our national development rests. Indeed, more than 80% of global trade continues to move by sea. Every nation represented here, regardless of size, of level of development, depends upon the uninterrupted flow of maritime commerce. When the integrity of the maritime system is undermined, the consequences are not confined to shipping companies or registries. They affect energy markets, supply chains, food security, economic stability, and ultimately the well-being of ordinary people across the globe. It is for this reason that the challenges we confront today demand our collective attention. And that is why we gathered here today to address the various challenges and to find collective solutions. Over the past several years, we have witnessed increasingly sophisticated efforts to evade sanctions regimes, conceal vessel ownership, manipulate vessel identities, falsify documentation, and exploit regulatory vulnerabilities across jurisdictions. We have seen the emergence and expansion of so-called shadow fleets, operating beyond accepted norms of transparency and accountability. We have witnessed the growing use of automatic identification system manipulation, deceptive shipping practices, flag hopping, shell ownership structures, and fraudulent registries designed to obscure illicit activities. These are real challenges that must be confronted with urgency. These developments threaten not only the credibility of sanctions regimes, but also the broad integrity of the international maritime governance architecture that has taken decades to build. The challenge before us is therefore not merely one of enforcement. It is fundamentally a challenge of governance. It is about ensuring that the principles of transparency, accountability, due diligence, and international cooperation remain stronger than those who seek to circumvent them. It is about preserving confidence in legitimate maritime commerce while denying opportunities to those who exploit gaps within the system for unlawful gain. And it is about protecting the reputation of responsible flag states whose registries operate in accordance with the highest international standards. In fact, what we're seeking here to do in Antigua and Barbuda is to exceed international standards. So we take our responsibility seriously. Over the years, Adams has built a reputation as one of the world's most respected international shipping registries. That reputation has not been achieved by chance. It has been earned through sustained investment in regulatory oversight, technological innovation, professional expertise, and a culture of continuous improvement, and I'll add here, strong leadership. Recognizing that maritime threats evolve rapidly, Adams has consistently strengthened its compliance systems, enhanced its due diligence procedures, and refined its risk assessment methodologies. These efforts have enabled us to significantly reduce regulatory exposure while reinforcing the integrity and credibility of our registry. Our experience has demonstrated a simple but powerful truth. Strong compliance frameworks are not obstacles to growth. They are prerequisites for sustainable growth and certainly for good governance. Credibility is an asset. Transparency is a competitive advantage. Trust remains the currency upon which successful maritime registries are built. Our efforts also align closely with recent developments at the International Maritime Organization, the IMO. In April of this year, the IMO Legal Committee approved landmark guidelines addressing fraudulent registration and fraudulent registries. These guidelines represent an important advancement in international maritime governance by establishing practical measures for verification, due diligence, information sharing, and risk mitigation. The adoption reflects a growing international consensus that maritime fraud can be no longer treated as a peripheral issue. It is a systemic challenge requiring coordinated global action, requiring the responsibility of all stakeholders. This symposium is therefore both timely and necessary. Over the next 3 days, you will expose emerging threats, you will share best practices, assess vulnerabilities, and develop practical solutions. You will examine the challenges posed by AIS spoofing and deceptive shipping practices. You will hear perspectives from both large and small flag administrations. You will engage in collaborative exercises aimed at strengthening due diligence standards and developing common approaches to vessel registration and sanctions enforcement. These discussions are important because no single state, and I emphasize, no single state, institution, or registry can address these challenges alone. What is required is global cooperation and coordination. The maritime domain is inherently international. Consequently, effective solutions must be international as well. This understanding lies at the heart of Antiguans and Barbuda's support for initiatives such as the Registry Information Sharing Compact, RISC. Information sharing is one of the most effective tools available in combating illicit maritime activity. Those who seek to evade detection often rely on fragmentation, secrecy, and the absence of communication between jurisdictions. So, communication between jurisdictions is the key. By sharing information, intelligence, and best practices, responsible registries can close gaps, identify risk earlier, and prevent bad actors from exploiting weaknesses within the system. I therefore warmly welcome all RISC members gathered here and extend special congratulations to the Republic of Malta on joining this very important initiative. Similarly, Antigua and Barbuda is proud to be a founding partner, together with Malta, in establishing the Global Center for Maritime Sanctions Monitoring. The center represents an important innovation in international maritime cooperation. It provides a platform through which expertise, intelligence, research, and operational experience can be brought together to strengthen sanctions implementation and enhance maritime transparency globally. I am particularly pleased to welcome Director General Neville, and forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong, Aquilina of Malta, Director Martin Cartier-Inglot, representatives of the United Nations representatives of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and all those who have contributed to advancing this very important endeavor. Your presence here reflects the growing recognition that safeguarding maritime integrity is not solely a commercial imperative. It is also a security imperative. As I said before, a governance imperative, and increasingly a geopolitical imperative. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, history teaches us that the strength of international systems depends not merely upon the quality of their rules, but upon the willingness of nations to uphold them. Implementation is the key. At a time when geopolitical tensions are increasing, sanctions regimes are expanding, and illicit actors are becoming more sophisticated, the maritime community faces a defining test. The question before us is whether we will remain active or reactive for that matter, responding to threats only after vulnerabilities have been exposed, or whether we will act proactively to build stronger systems capable of anticipating and preventing abuse. I am confident that the expertise assembled in this room places us firmly on the side of proactive action instead of reactive action. Through cooperation, innovation, transparency, and shared responsibility, we can strengthen the resilience of the international maritime system and ensure that it remains secure, credible, and fit for purpose in the decades ahead. Antigua and Barbuda is proud to stand with all of you in this endeavor. While I must depart very shortly because of other commitments of state, I do so with complete confidence that your deliberations will be productive, insightful, and certainly impactful, consequential. Let me again take the opportunity to wish you every success in the coming days and to ask you also to enjoy the unmatched Antigua and Barbuda hospitality. And I also want to wish you very fruitful discussions and that And I hope that your partnership will be strengthened and that your collective efforts will contribute meaningfully to a safer, certainly a more transparent, and a more secure maritime future. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.